That means.
Hello, y'all. It is time to breathe again on the latest BOFA Sports Webcast streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You caught us in a laugh because Patrick said something about notes. And we know Patrick doesn't have notes, but
what does that mean?
But it sounds good. And so, so here we are.
The Braves suck, man.
Stop it. So we're here. It's mid-April. You gotta stop, dude. Let's not sell the team right now. But we got the NBA playoffs to preview a little bit, and then there's a couple of other topics we're going to talk about with the Phoenix Suns and this situation with Tennessee and their quarterback Nico Iamaleava. Oh, I hit that name, Chris.
I'm gonna leave her.
But let's get started, Patrick. So this is our NBA preview show, and look for a hockey preview show probably next week as well. We hadn't really talked about hockey too much throughout the season, but they're
wrapping up their season this week. So
yeah, they still have a couple of games left, and I think their season finishes Thursday. Yep. So we'll talk about that more next week, and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Very, very exciting. Probably to me, might be the best playoff we got in sports. I mean, seriously, just when you think about the tradition and the passion, the intensity that you see from the fans there, hockey's kind of where it's at. But
I love hockey.
But for tonight, we'll jump into the NBA playoffs, and right now, so before we jump into the 4 matchups that are set. What we have going on tonight is the first game of the play-in tournament. And right now it is the Atlanta Hawks playing the Orlando Magic. Not looking good for the Hawks right now as we talk.
What's surprising?
Stop it with your Atlanta sports. But
dude, I've said this many times. There's only one city that's worse than Atlanta. That's Philly.
What? Hey, the Eagles?
They got more championships than Atlanta does. I don't even know, dude.
So
never won a Super Bowl. We've never had an NBA Finals. In the 90s, we got 1 World Series when we probably should have had 10. But look, even in the World Series, that doesn't even matter anymore. It's irrelevant. It's not even in my 10-year window. So what has Atlanta done in the past 10 years, minus that 1 World Series a couple of years back?
Not a lot. I'm sorry.
Nothing.
So the Hawks are losing to the Magic right now, and here's the setup for the play-in tournament. So the winner of the Atlanta Hawks Orlando Magic game will be the 7th seed and will get the 2nd seeded and defending champion Boston Celtics in the first round. The loser of that game between the Hawks and the Magic will take on the winner of the game tomorrow evening. Also in the Eastern Conference between the Miami Heat and Chicago Bulls. Tomorrow night they play in Chicago. So that game, the Heat Bulls winner and the Hawks Magic loser will take place Friday night. Whoever wins that game Friday night will get the 1-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. Over in the West, you have the Memphis Grizzlies playing the Golden State Warriors later on tonight. Whoever wins that game will be the 7th seed in the West, and they will get the 2nd-seeded Houston Rockets. What's going on, Aaron? Good to see you. So the Houston Rockets are waiting for that winner between Memphis and Golden State. The loser of that game will take on the winner of tomorrow night's Dallas Mavericks Sacramento Kings game, and then they will play Friday night to see who will get the number 1 seeded OKC Thunder in the first round. So that's what we are waiting for as these play-in games develop. But let's start with the series that are already set. And I guess we'll start in the East. And we'll start with the 3-6 matchup there, which is the New York Knicks against the Detroit Pistons. The upstart Detroit Pistons. Been a while since we've seen the Pistons in the playoffs.
I know, right?
But they are here with Cade Cunningham having a great season, stepping into that leadership role. They have the new coach who was actually the coach was it last year? Yeah. Last year he was coach for Cleveland, JB Bickerstaff. He's come up to Detroit and started doing a good job up there, helping to rebuild that culture. And you also got players like Malik Beasley and Jaden Ivey. They will play the Knicks, who is led by Jalen Brunson. They have Karl Anthony Towns in the lineup as well. And I mean, they have pretty much the whole Villanova team, pretty much. Well, because they have Mikal.
Minus the white guy. What was it?
Yeah, that's right. He's in Minnesota. He got traded in the Karl Anthony Towns trade. Dante DiVincenzo.
I would have hacked that up. I call him the white guy.
You still. So the Knicks. You're trying to see what the Knicks are actually going to do. The Knicks have been kind of this team knocking on the door, but during the season, they didn't have a lot of success against the top tier teams. I don't think they defeated the Celtics at all this year. They struggled against Cleveland. Go over to the West. They didn't beat OKC, and they have just struggled against the top teams. But they're sitting here at the number 3, maybe a dangerous team. What do you see, Patrick? Do you think they get by Detroit in the first round?
So last year the Knicks they were like Brunson and bench, you know what I mean? So they got some of their team back. I mean, I'm gonna go Villanova. I'm gonna go Villanova on this one. And, I'll have them winning. This is a 5-game series? A 7-game series?
Yeah, they're all 7-game series.
It's all 7 in basketball. Okay, just making sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Knicks. I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. I think Detroit is good enough to get a couple, especially with those guys. They've got a lot of upcoming talent. They're young, but I'm gonna go Knicks. Knicks in 6.
I'm with you. Aaron said 6. Well, what do you have, Aaron? You got them. You got a sweep.
You got a sweep?
Oh yeah, he got yeah, because boy, Aaron said 6. Well, I was like, here comes. He said he got him in like 5 or 4. But my man said Knicks 4.
He's like, I got my Knicks in 3. They're gonna beat them so bad in game 1. That's gonna count as 2.
Love it, Aaron. That's what I'm talking about. But I'm with you, Patrick. I think Detroit will get 1. I'm gonna go Knicks in 5, because I think Detroit this is one of those building years for Detroit. And when you think about it, them getting into the playoffs might actually be a year early. Yeah. So I mean, them being the 6th seed is something that I don't know if many people, even if you talk about within the city of Detroit, I don't know if they expected them to make the playoffs this early, especially when you had a new coach coming in. So I think this is one of those things where it's going to be a good building experience, learning experience for all those young players in Detroit. And I think they'll get a game when that series does go to Detroit for games 3 and 4. But yeah, I think the Knicks are just better right now at this point. And I think they'll win in 5. If it goes 6, then the Knicks probably need to sit here and ask what we try to do here. because they should I mean, they have the better team. They should be able to win this pretty solidly. No disrespect to Detroit, but they're better. And if the Knicks if they are able to get maybe a 3-0 lead, then they need to go ahead and put it away. Do not mess around. Do not play around with food. This is not when you want to play around with food. So I think the Knicks will do a good job of that, and they will do that in the 5 games. So the next series is this one's pretty interesting here. So you have the 4-seeded Indiana Pacers Yes, Aaron, you're right. Cat he has been a monster this year. The only thing, so going back to that, the only thing about Cat is, can you get this Cat in the playoffs consistently? It been kind of lacking in Minnesota when he was over there. He was just kind of just sitting there, just being just inconsistent, because he'll have a 27 point 15 rebound game, and then the next day it's 10 points and 4 rebounds. And so if you get a consistent Cat, then this makes the Knicks very, very formidable. Yep. So we'll have to see if he stays consistent. But yeah, this next series, Milwaukee Bucks playing the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are the 4th seed, and it's interesting because, look, we know Milwaukee, they got the Greek Freak. They got Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he has been playing at a ridiculous level, even for him. I mean, he's been kind of carrying that team, well, since Dame Lillard's been out. He got a blood clot, so hopefully he can recover from the blood clot soon. But Indiana with Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, they just, I don't know what you think, Patrick, but it just seems like they have the better all-around team right now.
Mm-hmm. And they found ways to win.
Yeah. And Indiana, they're coming out of here because look, Indiana, a lot of people forgot, Indiana was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Granted, they did get swept by the Celtics there, but there's a team that are bringing a lot of those players back. They're kind of sitting in a good spot there. Number 4, this 4 or 5 matchup, you get, I guess, assuming the Cleveland Cavaliers there. And Cleveland, they're kind of in that same boat. They've been really good in the regular season, but now, hey, they're number 1 seed. Let's see how they handle that pressure. But Aaron said that was a Mickey Mouse Eastern Conference Finals trip. But man, this is going to be a good series. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised to see if this series goes 6 or 7 games. Who do you have winning this one?
Oh, I go first on this one too.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, well, I'm look, looks like they're going back to Disneyland. I'm just saying. I got Pacers in 6.
Yeah, I think. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go 6-2. I think Indiana wins this in 6. It could go 7 if you get another one of those Giannis games. He just takes on over. But yeah, I just feel it's a lot that's gonna be on his shoulders.
Yeah, and with Dame out.
Yeah,
there's no sharing that workload. It's all on him. So unless you have to have one of those crazy games, you have to have a couple of crazy games like 40, 30 and 12, 40 points, 30 rebounds, and 12 blocks. Yeah. You'd have to have a hell of a game to do that, and he'd have to have a couple of them, especially with everything on his shoulders. So, yeah.
Yes. So, look, unless you get something from Kyle Kuzma, who you had picked up in that Chris Middleton trade, to help out with a little bit, then I don't see anything really happening there unless you do have one of those Giannis just ridiculousness games going on through. So, yup, and so. Yeah. Now look, hey, and yes, Bobby Portis. If Bobby Portis can come in there and he can do his thing, then that gives the Bucks a chance too. I don't know, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Milwaukee to win that series. But this series can go 7 games, just for the simple fact that you have Giannis. But yeah, I think the Pacers will pull it out as well. So let's head on over to the West. I guess I'll go first on these. The 3-6 matchup, you have the LA Lakers, who are the 3 seed, and they will be taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Lakers, I mean, look, a lot of people, of course, are going to be talking about them. That is going to be the media favorite, of course, with LeBron and Luka on the same team. And I think there are look, the Lakers have no size. So I think there are some significant weaknesses on that Lakers team. Unfortunately for Minnesota, I don't see where they can exploit that because they don't have any big people. Maybe if they kept Karl Anthony Towns, they could have had that. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, but Anthony Edwards, we know he's going to try to take it upon himself to try to score 50 points a game. You're not going to beat the Lakers that way. You're going to have to let some of these other guys, like you got DiVincenzo on the team, Julius Randle also, and then Nasri coming off the bench. Some of those other guys are going to have to step up if they're going to have a chance in this series. I just don't think Minnesota has enough to knock the Lakers out. So I will go Lakers in. Dang, dude, it might be 5. No, I think the Lakers are going to win at 5 because I don't think Minnesota. Look, they are going to pick and roll Minnesota to death, and it's going to be just barbecues of Rudy Gobert all over the place.
Yep. Look, you know this is going to pain me to say. This is going to pain me to say. I got the Lakers in 4.
You got a sweep.
I got a sweep. It kills me to say it too because I do not want. I love watching the NBA playoffs when LeBron James gets eliminated, and he will not be getting eliminated by Minnesota. I mean, I can see Minnesota getting 1 game, but I think it's a sweep. I don't think. Like you said, pick and roll. That's all they're gonna do. So there's really not much to say about this game. I mean, look, Minnesota's even coming up with a game plan right now. How do we stop the pick and roll? And you got 3 people going on. We don't. We're not going to stop that pick and roll. We're just not going to.
All right. So a couple of things. So Aaron was talking about Kevin Porter Jr. gonna cook in that series against Milwaukee. Aaron, they better hope because they don't. Giannis needs some help.
Giannis needs a lot of help.
Giannis needs some help. So between KPJ, Bobby Portis, Kyle Kuzma, yeah, they better hope they hook. Oh, and here's another thing, Aaron. Doc Rivers is the Bucks coach. That's an automatic L. That's an automatic.
At some point, that dude needs to be like, he needs to go home.
I'm sorry, like that Doc Rivers as your coach. Nah, man, that's about as close as guaranteed loss as you can get in the coaching ranks these days. And then, okay, so there's another person who wrote on Twitch. All right, yes, the Discord channel. Yes, I got to get that up because you always get the Twitch messages that are talking about.
Yeah, and you never do it. Hey, you know what? You told me right before we got on here, you said, Patrick, yeah, stop boycotting your phone. Charles, stop boycotting Twitch. So.
I'm streaming the Twitch at least.
You're streaming, but that's about it.
Oh goodness. Oh, Aaron said he needs that Discord too. So there you go. Yes.
See, right there. What else can I say?
Oh boy. All right, so you got the Lakers in 4. I got the Lakers in 5. And the last series that is set, this one could be interesting right here. So you have the Denver Nuggets as the 4th seed, and they're going to play the Los Angeles Clippers. And the Clippers have been playing some pretty good ball. Kawhi Leonard is actually healthy. James Harden has been playing pretty good for him as well. Norman Powell, he's just been a solid player. Remember, he was on the Toronto Raptors team as well that won the championship back in 2019. And he just comes in and it's just a bona fide scorer. He just gets it done scoring. And Subek has had a good season for them inside. We know what Denver's bringing with, Nikola Jokic might win his 4th MVP in 5 years. And then you got Jamal Murray's back healthy. Michael Porter Jr. is there. But Denver fired their coach last week. So Nikola Jokic might be the player coach. We'll see. No disrespect to David Adelman. I mean, he's the interim coach, but
running down the court, check him in.
Yeah.
Check him in.
And so Denver comes in with a few questions just to see how they can navigate that without their head coach, Michael Malone, into this series. And this series is going to be pretty tough. Denver has Nikola Jokic, man. I just think that's probably enough. Yeah, in this series.
Why not?
Yeah. And look, Jamal Murray, he when the playoffs hits, he starts cooking himself.
Yeah.
I think,
you know, he starts cooking everything. I mean, he starts throwing everything on the kitchen and the court, everything.
Yes.
He starts throwing everything on the court.
And so, yeah, Denver is I mean, it's going to be a good series because I think as long as the Clippers stay healthy, I see this one legitimately going 7. If the Clippers are able to stay healthy, if Kawhi Leonard is playing at a peak level, James Harden comes in there and does his thing until he ultimately throws up on himself in Game 7, and then and then you got Tyronn Lue, pretty good coach as well. So there are some things that the Clippers would have some advantages in, but I think Denver has enough to get it out. So I'm going Nuggets in 7 in this series.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. I got Nuggets in 7, but it's mostly because James Harden, he's non-existent in the playoffs. He can have the best series or best year and average a quadruple double. I don't care. He'll step into a playoff and he literally disappears, and he doesn't even come. He'll get you his 25, 30 points or whatever, but no rebounds, no blocks, defense goes away. He's just non-existent. And then there's games where, and especially like Game 7, like you said, this dude has literally not showed up at all, and on 4 or 5 points in a half, and that's all you get. So, to me, that is your huge cancerous part of the Clippers, and I think that it's not going to be any different. It's the same thing over and over again with James Harden. So I'll go Denver in 7. If it goes to 7, Denver will win it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes in 6.
All right, so we have in the West we have the Nuggets and Lakers moving on, and then in the East we have the Lakers and the Knicks. We both have the same picks there. Before we move off of the playoffs, do you see any of these play-in teams who could potentially make a run, make some noise if they are able to get in there? Into the playoffs.
I mean, dude, you can't never count Golden State out. Ever. You know, I mean, yeah, they're a play-in team, but man, when you got Curry, if he gets hot, I mean, he'll get you wins just off of shooting threes from half court. Hell, he'll step off the bus and hit a 3, and everybody's like, well, time to go home, because if he's hitting from there, I mean, we ain't gonna win tonight. So you might as well just go home. So, I mean, I think Golden State has a good chance. And let me look and see who the other ones are. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
that's about it. I mean, I want to say Atlanta, but you know, that's just because I'm a little biased.
Yeah. So I think.
I mean, Memphis is a good team too. But I mean, like if I'm only getting one team, I would lean towards Golden State. If I get 2 teams, Golden State and Memphis. Yeah,
Memphis they're a wild card, and it's the same thing with them. Can they stay healthy? They're another one who fired their coach at the end of the season too. And so if you could get a healthy Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. playing with Desmond Bane, then yeah, Memphis could be dangerous. I think with Orlando, I think they could have been dangerous, but I don't like their matchup. So, like, if they win, they're playing the Celtics. And I don't see anyone beating the Celtics in the East.
Me either.
I don't see it. I think Boston will come out of there.
I mean, I like Cleveland, and I wouldn't mind seeing Cleveland, but the question is even though Cleveland, and I mean, I guess it is debatable. I guess a lot of people I hear say Cleveland is the best team. Okay, yeah, statistically, yeah, they are the best team, but it doesn't change the fact that can they beat a Boston team in a series? That's the question. Is are they good enough to do that? I don't know. I mean, I would like to see that matchup, but I would probably lean towards Boston. I mean, I'll go ahead and tell you, I got Boston coming out of the East anyway. So,
yeah, in Orlando, because see, this is the thing. So if they were the 8th seed and played Cleveland, that's an interesting matchup for Cleveland because these two teams played each other last year. That series went 7 games, and I think, and Cleveland did win it, but you have a lot of the same players on the team that was there last year for both. And, Orlando's not going to come in there afraid of that one. No. I just think if they win, if they're going to win, if they win tonight, which it looks like they will, at least according to the halftime score. Then
I mean, being down by 14 is good for Orlando, but does not look good for Atlanta.
But if that 7-2 matchup is going to be with the Celtics, I don't like that one as much. Yes, Aaron, you were right. Yeah, Orlando won the division and they get the play-in tournament. I guess that's the thing with the NBA because now they just said basically whoever has the better records, that's who's going to get the higher seeds.
Yeah.
And so Orlando went in the Southeast, which you got Miami, you got Atlanta, you got Charlotte, and Washington. Ugh. Yeah, he kind of almost won that by default.
Yeah, you just had to have a pulse, and you would have won that.
See, he said, but Cleveland got DeAndre Hunter, who is a much better real life player than a fantasy player. And Patrick, you would know about that with DeAndre Hunter. Yes, that was. I
hated the fact they traded him. I was pretty pissed off about that, actually.
Yeah, that was a very good move for Cleveland, as a matter of fact. Yeah. I like that move. That was one of the better moves in the trade deadline. A lot of people, of course, was talking about Luka going to LA, Jimmy Butler going to Golden State. But you talking about some substance, that DeAndre Hunter trade to Cleveland puts them in a nice position. Well, Patrick, let's talk about a team that is not in the playoffs. And how, because dude, this is comical to me. Because so check it out. So you got the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns just fired Mike Budenholzer. They just hired him a year ago, signed him to a 5-year, $50 million deal. So they're gonna probably have to pay him $40 billion of that because they fired him. But it's comical because
this dude does not get a chance. That's what sucks for him.
Yeah, that part sucks. Absolutely. But Phoenix, see, what we need to do, not so much you and I, but the NBA sphere, the NBA world, they continuously try to operate on names and who's on the team. And if the name was big, for like not necessarily historically big, but throughout the career, like all right, Kevin Durant. You think you have Kevin Durant, you always got a chance, right? Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, and you got all them on the same team. But if you take the fantasy basketball blinders off, this Phoenix team was not going to be successful like that. They were not going to win any titles. They weren't complete themselves. All they have is those 3 players on there. None of them play defense consistently. And so they was gonna be what you're seeing now. This was always going to be the result. So
go
ahead. And since Kevin, and
I can give $1 million high fives, man. I'm just saying. Come on now.
And since Kevin Durant,
Come on, Phoenix. I'm right here.
and since Kevin Durant has been there, these have been the results. In 2023, got bounced out in the semifinals against the eventual champion Denver Nuggets. Year after, swept in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, they didn't even make the play-in.
They're going backwards. Hey, Phoenix. Come on now, give it up.
Best
Phoenix.
water boy ever. Yeah.
Best water boy ever. I give high fives and that claps better than anybody. Good game. Good game.
And
Give me 6 figures, boy. Woo! Patrick, that's smelling good. That's our high five right there, baby. You gotta rip my pants off for that one. I'm cheap. You can keep your salary cap down low with me. You even got to play me.
And so
that's
water
bottle.
You
and
you mentioned the salary cap, and so the salary cap is it's strapped because you're paying these 3 dudes a bunch of money, and there's absolutely nothing coming out, and there's no reason to believe that's going to get better. And here's another thing too in the NBA sphere, and maybe this is the case in sports period. It's always easier to fire the head coach. Always. If the head coach is, or if the team is quote unquote not performing to the standard they're expecting, the head coach is 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, they're going to get the blame and they're going to get rid of the head coach. But Phoenix has had 2 head coaches now in 2 years, and the results are getting worse. At some point, you got to look at those players. You have to.
And you got to give the coaches more than. You got to give the coaches more than 6 weeks to do something. Yeah. I mean, come on, dude. It's like they hire these coaches and they give them a 30-day trial period. What am I going to do with 30 days? You know what I mean? That doesn't even make sense. And it's happening everywhere in the league. Everywhere. Except for hockey. Hockey hires a coach and then they just stick with that coach until either the team dies or the coach dies.
Oh yeah, he got a 10-year contract. And so
he's walking in on a walker. Then. Line two.
But you can't. At some point, like that mix of players has to be looked at. And another thing, also, with Frank Vogel, you fired Monty Williams, you let him go. And then you bring in Frank Vogel, fire him, and then you fire Mike Budenholzer. Those coaches probably have more of a defensive mind anyway, more of a defensive background. And I know defense is one of those things that seems to be frowned upon in today's NBA. But the truth still remains. If you can't play defense, you're not winning a title. No matter how much you can score, no matter how high-powered your offense is, if you're not multiple, if you can't bring multiple things out to the court, you're not winning. You're not winning the title. It's been proven over and over and over again. The more complete teams win championships, and Phoenix is not complete at all. And so you have.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's Phoenix's fault that they hired. Look, nothing against Mike Budenholzer, nothing at all. He's a good coach. I watched him coach in Atlanta for several years, and we did very well under him. Here's the thing.
And of course, won a championship in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Why hire him? Phoenix should have never hired him. 1. Because, like you said, he's defensive minded. 2, he has no defense on that team whatsoever. And you're what are you going to do? Coach Kevin Durant to play defense? That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, don't hire a defensive coach because Durant's not learning to play defense. and neither is
Devin Booker.
Devin Booker. They're like, what a defense. Do I get the ball on defense? Yeah, if you steal it. Whoa. Let's not get crazy here. Let them score and give me the ball. That's how it goes.
That's too much.
That's too much. It's like, that's what they do. They walk out there and be like, bro, you're doing too much. Calm down. Let them score and give me the ball. That's how it works. No. Anyway, Phoenix ain't doing anything as long as they got those two there. Like you said, at some point, you got to look at the team. Stop looking at the coach. Look at the team and figure out what to do.
And Aaron says it, he said, look, he loves Coach Bud, but yeah, he's right. Like, yeah, Beal's kind of a baby. Durant, yeah, he's kind of out there. And Booker doesn't really have that killer instinct. I don't really see that in Devin Booker either. It's not a good mix. Mm-hmm. And yes, if you're going to bring Bud in for a 5-year contract and you're letting him go after a year, yeah, that's a raw deal. That is a raw deal. I mean, you can't bring these people in talking about you gonna commit and then you let them go when things don't work out. A coach doesn't have a chance to build any type of identity with the team if you're just gonna go ahead and just cut them off like that. And
it sounds to me like Phoenix just wanted to give away some money. So I mean, hey Phoenix, I'm gonna give away some money. Right here. High five.
And Aaron says Bradley Beal is George Pickens with manners. Man, yeah, George Pickens, who is, for those who don't know, the wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is, he has no manners at all. Does Bradley Beal have manners though?
Probably more than George Pickens.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, I just thought this was just really funny because I look at that and it really sums up what a lot of the NBA landscape is about. It's a more player friendly league than the other leagues are, and especially in the NBA, it is a lot easier to just say, oh, well, the head coach, he's got to go. He's not vibing with those players. And it's like the mix of players, the group of players you have, that just gets, that's just forgotten.
That's just overlooked.
Yeah, I don't understand how that gets forgotten and overlooked especially when the performance has decreased. Yeah. Every year it is decreased, and there's one common denominator, and that's the players.
Yeah.
And so, all right, enough about Phoenix. I'm sure all off season someone will be talking about them. But
I just want to make this one last statement about Phoenix right here, and then we can go in a different direction. Mm-hmm. I'm available anytime for an interview. I give good high fives. That's all I need to say. I'm gonna leave it at that. All's in your court.
It's the fifth time that you made that announcement.
Look, they need to know, Charles. They just need to know. I'm right here.
What is Aaron? Aaron said, this is Aaron's comment here. He said, I kept telling Suns fans, you got to give Bud some time. The fact that Beal told Bud to F off after telling him to play like Drew Holiday is a joke. Bud has a ring. Drew has 2. Listen to him. Pat Coach Russell Williamson put it on the resume and applied.
See? Aaron gets it. Aaron gets it. That's all I'm saying.
Aaron gets it. Yeah. So yeah.
Russell Williamson, he's there before a reason. I got him there.
Yeah.
And now he gives some of the best high fives, dude. Have you watched him? Gives you the best high fives.
And so on Aaron's comment, I did hear that about Bud asking Beal to play a little bit more like Drew Holiday. As a player, a lot of players say they were willing to do anything and everything they can to win championships. What they don't tell you, and what ultimately gets proven over time, is they want to win on their terms. And so they want to do it their way. So Beal, if this is how it happened and he told Budenholzer to basically F off, then these are some of the things you have to do. And if you have the team with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you are not going to come in there and score 30 points a game like that. There's going to have to be a sacrifice somewhere. There's one basketball.
Yep.
And so if you have Durant and Booker on the squad, sorry, Beal, you're not going to have the game. You're not going to have the ball in your hands like that all the time. So you might as well do some other things to help the team win. Part of that is, yes, actually playing defense. And so if you're not willing to do that, then all right, you continue to miss the play-in. And so and like that comment that Aaron said is awesome. Like, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better myself. And then he also said when they sent Bridges and Johnson away, they already lost the future. That is true too. That came in the Kevin Durant trade where they sent Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson to the Brooklyn Nets. And when you send those players off trying to basically buy a championship with a player who, look, Kevin Durant, let me say this. Kevin Durant is an all-time great scorer of the basketball. That is no questions asked, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The dude can score. But if you're asking him to lead your team there, that's probably not going to happen.
No, he had to be on a super team to get his rings.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, like, he was not going to do it on his own. He's not going to lead your team there. He had to have a team like Golden State where Curry leads the team there. Curry does all the stuff, and then Curry steps back and lets Kevin Durant have his moment. And Curry was fine with that because Curry's more about rings. He don't care about the spotlight. He don't care about all of that stuff. He wants to win. And if the coach is like, hey, I need you to step back and let Kevin Durant have that shot, Curry will throw it right to him.
Yeah, and really all Kevin Durant had to do on that team was score, which is what he does best.
I think it was 4-on-5 on the defensive side.
Yeah, there you go.
well, 4-on-3. Curry, short. Got the man.
For the final topic of the evening, let's go to college football and a situation developed. With the University of Tennessee. So they had a quarterback, their quarterback from last year, Nico Iamaleava, crushing it. But anyway, Iamaleava had an NIL deal worth $2.3 million. I think
2.4.
Okay. I guess somewhere in the last week or so, he was basically telling Tennessee, hey, I gotta bump them dollars up on my on my NIL deal. And Tennessee said, no, you're not doing that. So either you stick with this 2.3 mil, 2.4 mil, or you can walk. And so I guess Iamaleava is walking, and he is supposed to be in the transfer portal tomorrow. Now I gotta read and look. I'm gonna sit here, full transparency here, of course, as we have on this show. I need to know, and maybe you know this, Patrick. How many cycles of the transfer portal is there? It seems like there's a new cycle that opens up every 3 weeks.
Every season.
So,
spring, winter, fall, and summer. And then you got your mid-season portals. So you're looking at about eight.
Aaron, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you coming on, sharing the comments and stuff. And we appreciate the love, man.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. So have a good one, man. Thanks for coming in and watching for a little bit.
Yes, sir. Take it easy, Aaron. But yeah, Patrick, like, so is it just 4 or is it like 10?
I want to say there's 4 legit, but I think there's 8. I would literally think there's 8 because they have a transfer portal for all the sports.
Okay,
Because baseball has 2. I know baseball has 2. Football has 2. Hockey has 2. I mean, there's probably like 30, honestly, because I think every sport has like 2.
But because it just seems like every time we hear one of these cases with a player, it's all right. Well, I'm gonna enter the transfer portal, and then 2 weeks later, I'm gonna enter the transfer portal. I said, is this a yearly cycle? Is there times where you don't? Like,
so the transfer portal is like a period. It comes once a month.
The period is all year. Because it just seems like every time something comes up, transfer portal. All right, what happened to this player? Transfer portal. And even in basketball, Patrick, just going over to another sport. So Maryland. So when Maryland got eliminated by Florida in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, like 5 or 6 players the next day.
They were going like that week.
Yeah. I said, what is
got their butts handed to them and they bounced.
UCLA, the women's team, 4 or 5 of their players transfer portal. And I said, what is it going on? Like, so again, is this just one of these things? Like, it's just a revolving door. Like, the transfer portal is just always open. There's really no cycles there. And so, but with Nico and this NIL deal, that this is new territory now. Yep. Because what you have here now is you have a player who had the deal, millions in this deal, and he's negotiating with the school directly, I guess, to get more. And the school said no. And so now he said, I'm going into the transfer portal. So I guess he wants about $4 million in this deal, whatever the deal is. And there are some teams like Texas Tech, like North Carolina, and a few others who I guess were showing some interest, but
UCLA, Tulane. Yeah. Now Tulane in North Carolina are out.
Yep.
Looks like North Carolina is going with the Alabama State quarterback. I can't think of his name right now, but I do remember he's from Alabama State. And they're committed to that. And Tulane pulled out, and they didn't say any reason why. They just pulled out and said, "No, we ain't going that direction."
Because if it wasn't here before, it's definitely here now. You're basically a free agent every single season, and if you especially particularly if you graduate. If you graduate, you can stay in school for another 4 seasons, just basically going to play ball at this point. And they can have whatever NIL deal, and they can negotiate this with the schools. They get a little bit more money. If you were playing at, let's say, not to pick on Colorado State, but let's say you were playing at Colorado State. You go over to one of the big schools or one of your power conference schools, they have the money if they want to throw a little bit more on the NIL deal. Oh yeah, if you're gonna come over here, you was making 2.3 million, you can make that 3 and come play for us for a year. And so it's just this is interesting territory, man. And like I don't have a problem. I've been consistent with that. I don't have a problem with players getting their bag and getting their money. I feel like the NCAA, one of the 4 most corrupted organizations we know of. Speaking of that, Patrick, tax day today. But
let's not go there.
Okay.
Talk about a corrupt organization.
Oh man, that's funny. It's nice day. It's a great day to bring up the IRS, right?
Stupid organization.
But now with the NCAA, I mean, they were making all this money, and the players didn't get to see any of it. But now, with the being Wild Wild West, basically, now something has to come together, and it's probably going to happen through the conferences. like we said before, the NCAA at this point is obsolete. They are pretty much nowhere in the equation now. These conferences have these big billion-dollar contracts going on, and they're trying to create super conferences. I mean, those talks have happened. Nothing has come to fruition as of yet, but it won't be long. It's going to be a matter of time before you have these super conferences, and it's going to have to be up to the schools in these super conferences, definitely in the SEC and the Big Ten, among others, to say, all right, well, if you have this NIL deal, then we're going to have to put another stipulation in there that says, hey, if we bump that pot up, like in this case with Iamaleava, we bump this up to $3 million. You can't leave. You're here for at least a year, and then at the end of the year, if you want to go somewhere else, then all right, you can bounce. If you feel that your NIL deal isn't enough, then you can go ahead and bounce. I just think right now, year-to-year contracts at this point, that's the way to go. It's the year-to-year thing anyway. Teams don't look the same from year to year anyway. So you might as well go ahead and make it year to year across the board, as far as I'm concerned. NIL deal, transfer portal, all of it. Just go ahead and make it year to year. And then once the season begins, you're there. If you are at a school, no bouncing. No, none of that. And here's another thing, Patrick. Iamaleava was holding out during practice.
Yeah, I heard about that. You're not raising your stock price holding out in college. I mean, look, so back on the colleges that you said that were interesting. Like, I didn't hear about Texas Tech, but I did hear about UCLA, North Carolina, and Tulane. And I would be honest with you, the only school I even saw him even having a chance in was North Carolina. And when they went to Arizona or Alabama State quarterback, I was like, this dude ain't playing. Like, he held out for $4 million. And so let's put this into perspective. There's only 2 players that makes over $4 million this coming up year. One's Carson Beck, which I don't know how he got it, and the other one is Arch Manning. So I mean,
Miami's shelling out.
Yeah, Miami's going to shell out. So I can see why he is. But here's my thing. It's like, if you're going to go and say, I want $4 million. Okay, first of all, beat Ohio State in the playoffs. Beat Ohio State. Second of all, don't lose to Arkansas. Right? If you put those 2 wins, that might be a different. That's different. Now we're talking. You got us to the second round. You didn't get whipped back here by Ohio State. You got us to the next round. My question is where is he coming from thinking a school like Tennessee is going to shell out an extra $1.7 million to keep him there when he's not even worth it? He hasn't shown anything last year that says, that's my guy. Now, he kind of pissed his own way out the door when he said, I'm going to hold out. I'm not going to show the practices, and this is what's going to happen. What's going to happen was somebody like Heupel, you're going to try to negotiate with Heupel? He'll tell you to hit the road. He ain't got time for that crap. He'll be like, all right, look, Nick Saban already predicted all of this. He goes, this is how it's going to go. And sure enough, here we are. You know what I mean? So now I'm sitting here looking at Nico going, everybody's set in a quarterback. Nobody needs a quarterback. I went through the SEC. You can't go to SEC anyway because he entered in the transfer portal too late. So he can't go to any team in the SEC. I looked at the ACC. The only team that really needs a quarterback was North Carolina. Now that's fixed. Looked at the Big Ten and Big 12. Don't see anybody there either that needs a quarterback. Not $4 million, maybe 1.5, but he's not going to sell for that. So I looked at the four major conferences, and I say the four major conferences because Pac-12.
It's not a conference anymore.
It's not conference. It's just you know. So now I'm having to go. Okay, what about the independents? Now I'm looking at those. Well, 3 teams are already out. You can't go to those 3 teams. That's the Army, Navy, and Air Force. So those are out. So you're really looking at about 15 teams, 20 teams that you really can be like, I want to settle in right there. Nico ain't gonna do that. Those teams can't afford what all these bigger teams can afford. Here's his problem. He needs better management. Because if I was managing this guy, I'd be like, shut up, take your $2.4 million because you ain't getting it anywhere else, and play the season. Because now you're running a risk of not even getting to play at all. And if you are going to get to play, you're going to play for a Division II college or some rinky-dink Division I. Well, good luck with that, because you held out for $4 million and now you're taking a pay cut. Because none of those teams can afford $4 million. Sorry. It's dumb. It's dumb. Like, I couldn't understand what he was trying to do. Bad management, man. Bad management.
If you were going to make the negotiation effort, that's got to start earlier than now. And maybe there was some talk going on that we just don't know about, but it's a little late in the game after the spring ball period, or during the spring ball period, depending on what school is there and when they have their spring games.
Yeah.
It's late. And now you're over here talking about like you're holding out. And I think more than anything, Patrick, he overplayed. He overplayed his hand, whatever leverage he felt he had from, I guess, leading Tennessee to the college football playoff. He thought that he could get more. But like you said, they got blasted in the first round by Ohio State. That game was not even close. And if you look at Iamaleava's numbers, he wasn't blowing anybody off the page. I mean, the numbers were pretty pedestrian. And so It's not like he was putting up Hendon Hooker numbers from a couple of years ago when Hendon Hooker was there in Tennessee throwing to Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman and those other receivers.
And those receivers made him even look good because he was overthrowing them receivers the entire season.
Oh, he was just putting it out there and letting them
put it out there. And let me tell you, they covered some ground. So, and even Hendon Hooker wasn't even that good. He was bailed out the entire season. So, make sure we understand that part too, because but no, he doesn't have the wide receivers that Hooker had. So, but I don't even think he was that good as I don't even think he was as good as Hooker. So
yeah, and that's my point. Like it's not like he wasn't putting up those type of numbers.
Yeah,
and so like regardless if he had those receivers or not, like Iamaleava's numbers were just they weren't worthy of him coming in there saying, "Oh, I want $4 million."
Yeah, they ain't that good. So who was it Dan Lanning that ratted Nico out?
I don't know.
I think it was Dan Lanning that he was like, I heard, and he called Heupel. He was like, I heard this is what's happening. Hey, you know what? Yeah, look. Yes, Lanning ratted him out. But you know what? I might ratted him out.
Where did you hear this at, Patrick?
I don't know. I think I just heard like a Google what was it called? Like a Google thing, news thing that came across my thing, and it said news. Dan Lanning was the one that let Heupel know that Nico was looking or something like that. Here, let me see if I can look it up and just to see it, because like I said, I just read it in passing.
All right, it's funny. I mean, look, I don't think it would be any bit of a surprise if something like that happened. Yeah, people are always kind of trying to get some sort of competitive advantage. So, and you got friends, you got sources, you got people in there who will kind of try to push some things along a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey,
here it is. So Google said it was Oregon's head coach Dan Lanning who directly informed Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel that they were exploring the possibility of recruiting Nico. This direct outreach which happened during the winter transfer window and was not well received by Heupel and the Tennessee staff.
Okay.
So like I said, I read it in passing, but I was like, I gotta look it up. But yeah, it was Dan Lanning who called him out and told him.
So there you go. So it's like, hey, I heard that he's talking about going elsewhere. Translation. But look, translation's like Dan Lanning's like, come to Oregon. Come over here.
Well, Oregon's set at quarterback too, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, Oregon has had a transfer quarterback for it seems like 8 seasons. Because think about it. Look, so they had the year before, they had Bo Nix come in.
Yeah.
And then last year it was Dylan Gabriel. So I don't know who they get, but Oregon been living in the transfer portal for quarterbacks. So
yeah, now I'm curious. Now I'm gonna go and look and see what who Oregon has as a quarterback. Because they might have already went into the transfer portal and got somebody.
Oregon.
Oh, they still have. Do they still have Dylan Gabriel?
I don't know.
They showed him on the list as a senior.
I mean, like Dylan Gabriel is like an 8th year senior, man. Like that dude.
Yeah, that dude.
That dude has been to at least 3 schools already.
So I have to pry my hands out of Oregon. How old are you? 41. Shut up. How long you been a quarterback here? 15 years. Leave me alone.
Well, Patrick, hey man, so it's about time to head on out, man. What's coming up for Bro Epic?
So we are putting together. I got to get some. I got to finish up the editing on our Parents versus Kids dodgeball game that we did at Coastal Elite Sports. So hopefully that's coming out Friday, but it might be Monday because I gotta go through a few more cuts. But I'm still hopeful for Friday. But we started our Tetris challenge. We're halfway. I got put out in the freaking first round. I got put out. I was so mad. I was like, crap. Brantley. So it's a double elimination. So Brantley beat me, and then Keating beat me. I was like, sucks. Now I'm out. So anyway, we got Tetris. We're going to try to film some bowling in the next couple of weeks. The 3 sports bowling. We're going to try that. And then Parents versus Kids kickball. So it's going to be a Parents versus Kids kickball. Kids have been going, we want revenge. We want revenge. We want revenge on the parents. So I'm gonna give them their shot. So Parents versus Kids kickball. 3 innings, Bro Epic style.
Because the kids got waxed in dodgeball.
Dude, wait until you see the second one. They got beat in the first one. Dude, we waxed them. I mean, dude, you should have saw some of the throws I was throwing. I was like, I was coming back from California. I was hitting them head, body shots, head shots. I was like, I don't care. I'm taking them out. Not only are they going to be out, I'm gonna make them question life choices. I'm hitting them hard as I can.
So keep an eye on this for BOFA Sports. So Patrick, I was looking through the channel, and would you believe, combined with the webcast and the shorties through the years we have done this, we've done 500 episodes.
I saw.
And so And so look for us like a special cast where we're gonna look through some of these clips, and I'm just gonna put together like some of the best clips that we have. I'm not sure when that is going to be done. I want to try to have this done within the next, we'll go a few weeks. And yeah, by then we'll be on episode 510 or 515, but whatever. We'll go ahead and we'll look through some of these best moments, and we'll go ahead and clip them together and make a nice little collage about it, maybe going about 30 minutes and stuff, just for people to laugh and have these moments come on through, from your what about the rats shorty to Peter.
What about the
rats? You're what about
probably my all-time best shorty, dude.
Yes, the one where I was talking about Garrett Cole when he was with the Houston Astros and they were playing the World Series here in DC against the Nationals, and he got flashed. And all the other moments that we could think of. Yeah, we're gonna go through some.
Manning. Remember the Peyton Manning and the pizza thing?
Yeah, yes. The rant.
Dude, I can't wait.
The rant you went on.
That rant I've been on for 20 minutes about Papa John's and Peyton Manning. Oh, I can't wait. I want to see that. Is that going to be like a little special episode you throw out there for?
Yes. Yeah. So, I don't know how long it's going to go. I mean, I think I can see it going about 30 minutes or something. But
dude, you might have to do like a part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can think of about 5 episodes where we said some of the things that we said. Holy cow!
Yeah.
What was the one thing about the who was it? The team where I was like, man, they're just like a dirty condom.
Oh, that was the Rams and the Raiders and the Chargers, because they continuously get moved, and they're the teams like when the NFL needs some movement, they gotta go. You know, like
the teams that go, there's like a little dirty condom, and they just
yeah, it's so gross.
I don't even remember what I said, but I need to.
Oh, I do. Yeah, reuse condom. And so, yep. So we on the lookout for that, and then of course we're gonna bring back some of these other games, run it back, break it up, the hashtag episodes. So all those are in work. So keep an eye out for those things. We got a comment here. Someone said that the Steve Binko said Sacramento for the ring. Look, I don't think Sacramento's getting that far. I'm sorry, Steve. I think Sacramento is. Well, they should be Dallas. They should be down.
That's as far as they go.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, everybody, take care. This will conclude this edition of the BOFA Sports Webcast. That is what we are breathing on for this evening. Y'all make sure y'all visit the BOFA Sports YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, and follow the BOFA Sports Facebook page. So everybody take care. Enjoy these games coming up. And he's still mad about the Kings Lakers referee debacle. And so, everybody,
you should catch us every Tuesday night. Dude. Yeah. Bring those comments every Tuesday night. We start at 7:30 Central, so bring those comments.
So everybody, take it easy. Enjoy the playoffs, and we will be right back here next week. So y'all take care. Have a good night.